You are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Strutting from Gorilla.
Welcome to SFG, guys. I'm Mikey Cash with Big Vito as always. Today we are very excited to be previewing the Royal Rumble, which is happening later today. It is January 31st, bright and early this morning. We're coming to you guys. Royal Rumble's coming to us from Saudi Arabia later today at 2 o'clock. You can catch that on ESPN or whatever other service you decide to use. We're very excited about it. We're going to talk about our predictions for the Rumble matches, potential surprises, and use the old SFG crystal ball to try to predict one of the WrestleMania matches that's going to result from today's PLE. So, before we step into the ring on this episode, scan the QR code in the corner to connect with us on the socials and leave us a review. Now, without further ado, let's get ready to rumble. Big
Hell yeah. Rumble day.
I am ready, man. I am ready.
You know, I'll tell you, the Rumble is probably one of my favorite pay-per-views or PLEs of the year, to be honest with you. You know, WrestleMania has a different vibe going in. Like, you get excited. It's like the Super Bowl. But the Rumble is really cool because I just love the surprise element of the Rumble when they come in, right? You don't know who the superstars are. I'm a sucker, as we all know, for a good surprise and a good comeback. So I'm hoping we have a few mixed in that'll get me all jazzed up. But I think it'll be a good pay-per-view. Did you see the stadium they built?
Yeah, I saw. I think I saw it on Instagram, dude. It looks incredible. It's one of the most intricate sets I've seen from them in a while.
Yeah, I don't know who did that, but whoever they did, they should have hired that person to do the big dig in Boston because they got that done in about 30 days or less. And that's pretty impressive. Meanwhile, you got the big dig over here that takes 10 years. So
For people who don't know what the big dig is, Vito, can you tell them?
Oh, the big dig. If you're not from Boston, the Boston area, the traffic in Boston was historically bad, and it's still bad. And they did a whole remake of the city highway, and it was like underground, and they did this whole thing, and it was supposed to take a few years and ended up taking like 15. And by the time they were done, the traffic outpaced what they thought it was going to be, and it really didn't do much.
So there you have it, folks. Before the Rumble, we got a little big dig history lesson here.
But no, for real though, that they put that together so quickly. You know, I don't know if there was some funky stuff going on over there, what kind of labor they had, but yeah, but they got it done, man. They got it done real quick, and it looks great. I don't know if you saw it on SmackDown or not.
No, I did. It looks incredible, man. I was able, so I don't get USA anymore, but I was able to watch it in the morning. I just go on YouTube and you watch all the highlights and stuff, and they showed it. It was incredible.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing it actually in action when people are coming out and stuff. I'm definitely waiting for that.
yeah, it'll be cool. I mean, it's a unique thing. I know we're talking about the set of the Royal Rumble, but it's unique because they basically could have designed anything they wanted to. So from like a production standpoint, I wonder how much input they had into it and like how they changed it to make it more efficient for wrestling, right? I mean, in general, it looks like a normal arena, but it's outside, which is pretty cool. Basically, it was in like a dirt parking lot. So I'm a sucker for that stuff too. I think when you put on an entertainment show, I think the production piece is always pretty cool to see. I remember back in the Attitude days, every pay-per-view had like a giant set. You remember? I don't know, was it Backlash that had the hooks that were like
hooks.
Yeah.
Dude, those are so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I'm pumped. I'm pumped about it, Mikey.
Yeah, how do you feel like the build has been to this year's Rumble?
Um, I don't know. You're gonna push me off into a different
Into a tangent?
yeah, but I'll touch on it briefly. I mean, I I've been a little I don't know if concerned is the right word, but uh I feel like the creative has been strange. Um they've got some things they've hit on. They've got some stuff they've missed on. I mean, generally it's good. It's better than where we were, you know, 6
Oh
years ago,
yeah.
7 years ago. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I just feel like sometimes they're cramming so much into small amounts of time that it takes away from some of the story that I'm trying to latch on to, if that makes sense.
So it feels convoluted. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot happening, and it's hard to sort of focus on whatever they're saying is important.
yeah, like I'll give you an example. Like John Cena retiring was obviously a great storyline. I could focus on it. It was a
Absolutely.
big thing. I had something to look forward to. Now like okay, all of a sudden I'll give you another example. Finn Balor and CM Punk go on
Okay.
Raw, have this great match, and then it just the way it ended was horrible, right? And it's like, oh, that could have been so good, and maybe that is leading up. Maybe he finds it feels like he's gonna find a way into the Rumble, and maybe he wins it and then goes on to face CM Punk. But I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But I don't know, just in general, that's kind of my feeling towards it. I mean, do you feel differently?
You know, to be honest, I know I'm sitting here doing this podcast with you, but in terms of the way I've been watching wrestling lately, I haven't been able to sit down from
Yeah.
bell to bell and watch a full show. I don't have Netflix anymore, so I don't necessarily have the ability to just like watch Raw right when it's happening. I can get clips, I can go on YouTube. I kind of get a lot of my wrestling that way right now, and
Yeah.
it's kind of the same for SmackDown as well. But from what I can see, it they have. I feel like me watching it that way has actually felt less convoluted than what you're saying. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe if I was watching it from 8 to 10 or 8 to 11, whatever, I probably would feel the same way of like, oh, there's just so much happening, and it's hard to sort of determine like where do I want to really get invested? Because
Yeah.
inevitably something's going to take priority, and like we kind of have an idea of like what that looks like, but I
Yeah.
don't know if me just watching it on YouTube, I'm kind of just choosing what I want to put my energy into, and I think that's kind of what it is. Like I'm looking through the clips of what's happened on the show, and I decide, all right, I want to watch what's going on with Stephanie Vicker and the women's world championship. So I'm going to pay attention to anything around that. I'm going to pay attention to things around CM Punk. I'm going to pay attention to the AJ Styles storyline because I think that's really interesting. Uh, in terms of some of the build to the Rumble, I've enjoyed what they've done with Cody, and sort of teasing. Is he going to go for a three-peat? We haven't had somebody do that in a long time, and what that means with Randy Orton. Like those are the things that I've been kind of getting invested in. So I think for me, it hasn't felt that way at all. So I haven't. In a way, it's almost like I've created my own build for the Rumble because I've sort of chosen what I wanted to really pay attention to as we've led up to this event.
No, and that makes sense. And you know what? I don't think you're alone in that aspect. I think there's a lot of fans out there that have kind of given up on the Netflix, ESPN, USA subscription stuff. Like,
Right. How many things can you go to
yeah, and
watch all of the shows?
right, and I remember Nick Khan saying that it wasn't going to affect anything, but that's a lot of money for people these days, and it's crazy. Like it
Hmm.
as much as you love wrestling, you're right. You can catch the majority of the clips and read about it online. Like, okay, great. So
Dude, you just go on here, and I got Instagram clips up the wazoo with.
I know.
I
I
could get
know.
everything I really needed from Raw, and you get all the highlights of like kind of what really mattered. If enough people are talking about it, that's kind of telling me something about how important that segment of the show was.
So I think you're proving my point in two ways. Number one, the pulling the plug is like a big thing. But here's the deal. If it was really that compelling, you would pay for it. Like if there was really stuff that you wanted to see live and in the moment, you would be wanting to pay for it. Meaning like Raw. I mean, like pay-per-views are what they are, right? And but like Raw and everything, if you really felt compelled to watch it, if they were really putting out great storylines and you didn't feel like there was so much content that it was like overwhelming, that you would pay for it, and people don't want to, and I think you're not the only one. So again, I'm not saying this stuff is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I think
No, no.
I think that, but my point is, like, if it was really that good, people would pay for it. Just like we paid a good amount of money for the John Cena ticket, right? Like
That's right.
if it was somebody else, we wouldn't do it. So I see your point in all of that. You know what I kind of equate it to? And I off air before this, I already equated something to video games. But think about video games today. It's so difficult to play a video game versus when we were a kid. Like we had like SmackDown versus Raw, SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. You play the game, it's simple, blah blah blah. Nowadays, you got like you got to buy the video game, then the downloaded content, then it, by the time you get all of it, the new game comes out. And it's like there's just so much so quickly, and you only have so much time in your bandwidth that, like, it's the
It's
same
true.
concept. Same
Yeah,
concept.
and at the risk of sounding too much like Statler and Waldorf over here, like how many fucking covers of WWE 2K do I need? Like
Yeah.
what? Like, if everyone's on the cover, no one's on the cover. This just none of these covers are important to me. There's the Attitude Era edition, then there's the the Monday Night War edition, then there's the Triple H edition, and then there's the regular edition, and CM Punk gets that, which he must be pissed about. That's just a nice little dig again. Of you're important, but you're not that important to have the CM Punk edition. You just get the
Yeah.
regular. Like
Yeah.
so, like what?
I
Why,
know.
why does it have to be like they're trying so hard to create want, if that makes
I
sense?
know.
Like I'm like you're falling on deaf ears for me at least. So I don't know. Anyway, we went. You're right. We did go off on a tangent. We did go
You
off on a
asked the
tangent. But you know
question.
what?
I just gave you the answer.
Jim Ross to Psycho Sid. We're live, big boy. So this is what we're doing. Let's let's wrangle ourselves in for a second, okay?
Okay.
And just take a look at the match card.
All
So
right.
we obviously have the women's rumble and we have the men's rumble, and then there's only two other matches on the card today. So
Yeah.
four. So I wonder how they're gonna space that out. We're probably gonna get a lot of commercials. I guarantee that. At least 12 advertisements for 2K26 and all the different editions, as mentioned just a minute ago. But looking at the two matches for a second before we get into the Rumble, there's the WWE Championship match, Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. And then there's the, I guess, kind of career on the line match with AJ Styles versus Gunther. What are you thinking about those two matches? How have those builds been for you? Are you excited about those matches? What are you thinking?
Yeah. Before I get into that, though, too, I want to address that. You said there's 4 matches on the card. It's kind of crazy to me that they have all of these, big pay-per-views like WrestleMania and then SummerSlam, and they're 2 nights. I would say out of all of the pay-per-views that they have, or PLEs, I'm always going to call it a pay-per-view, but all of the PLEs, I feel like the Royal Rumble is the one that would make the most sense to have 2 nights where you have the women's rumble and you have the men's rumble. Only because that's 30 times, that's 60 times that someone is coming out that entrance. And it kind of like loses, like you get
It's a
tired.
lot of countdowns.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot of 10, 9, 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So if
gotcha.
you spaced it out, you would have 2 nights that I think people would be excited for, because the Rumble is a draw in itself. People love the excitement of the countdown. So if you had it on Saturday and you had it on Sunday, then you could fill out the card with some other matches, which I think would be great. But here nor there. That was something I talked with you about another day. But yeah, so career verse or the retirement match, I don't know what's going to happen there. It seems odd to me that AJ Styles would end his career at the Rumble without any real buildup. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think we need a retirement tour, but I think he's had a decent enough career where it feels like it would end flat in some degree. Then
I
on the
agree.
flip side, how do you have AJ Styles beat Gunther, who just beat John Cena? I feel like it kind of cancels that out in some degree. Like, you're making Gunther to be this like career killer, and all of a sudden he beats John Cena, but he's going to lose to AJ Styles. Like that. That to me doesn't seem right either. Here is my theory on that one, and you can
Mm.
tell me yours. I have a feeling that AJ Styles loses, but then he goes to TNA and he
I
does a
think that's a
little
pretty
bit of a run.
popular. That's a
Yeah.
pretty popular prediction. I,
Yeah.
I on the surface, I kind of agree with it, and then there's this part of me that thinks, I wonder if they will do something unexpected and have him eke out a win, and then it extends until WrestleMania and he gets a send off that way, and then he goes off and does the TNA thing. The only reason I'm saying that is I saw, and you know how much I hate the journalism in wrestling, but it's there was something about like a patent that he was like copywriting something about with his name, phenomenal AJ Styles, the P1, all that.
I did see that.
So that's gonna need some time to process. So I almost wonder, like he starts it now because he's already planning that this story is probably going to continue until Mania, and then maybe after that, that's all through, and then he can leave and kind of go through TNA and kind of
Yeah.
have the rest of his tour that way, because he strikes me as a guy that I really do think deserves a Mania send off. And I know that you only have so much control in the
Yeah.
professional wrestling business, but I do think AJ has warranted a real proper send off. You know,
Yeah.
if you give this guy, I mean, we're not going to give him the Kurt Angle treatment, and that's kind of like the lowest end of the spectrum for what you can do for a legend in this business. And
Yeah.
then you have what they just did for John Cena, which is arguably one of the best things they've ever done for someone. Storylines aside, all that, but like the idea of doing something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel as though with AJ, yeah, he didn't have his whole tenure in WWE, but he was there for 10 years. So
Yeah.
I think he earned a lot of credibility, I think, among that fan base that wasn't familiar with his work. So I think that's going to translate into giving him something better than, okay, he has this last match and it feels very sudden. Uh, but, maybe he was having his farewell tour all along. There's that other part of me that thinks maybe he does lose. And, the matches that he was having over the last year, parallel with John Cena, it was just an unspoken retirement tour for himself. And maybe that's how he is as a person, where
Yeah.
he doesn't want that kind of thing. I don't know. But I personally would love to see him one last time lace up the boots. And if that's when Gunther finally does it, I mean, I don't think it would necessarily take away all too much from him. He's already a former world champion. He's already taken out Goldberg. He's already taken out Cena. I think at this point, the belt can't be unrung on his on kind of his status.
I agree with that. I just think it would be odd that he would beat those two and then lose to AJ Styles. Like, it would just be
Sure.
odd. Like, that's my theory behind it. But I don't think he's gonna lose. I think he's gonna win. I mean, in Gunther, I think he's gonna win. I really do think that AJ Styles is gonna go down to TNA and finish his career. I just think TNA is what built AJ Styles. Like, he came to WWE, but WWE didn't build him. If you didn't have that big run, I mean, he was the face of TNA. He was like their Shawn Michaels, right? Like, that's the best way I can describe it. And
Absolutely.
it would be really fitting for him to end his career there, number one. And number two, I think this partnership that they have, I think it would only enhance TNA to have somebody of his caliber go back there. And I
Sure.
think it would be a win-win and a unique circumstance where he could actually do that. What I don't want to see is him go to AEW. Not that I have a problem with AEW, but like I don't want to see him start this whole new chapter if his career is coming to an end. Like I want to see him end it either in WWE or in TNA.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe this is just the end and that's it,
Mhm.
and whatnot. But I don't see that. I see him continuing his after wrestling life with WWE in some fashion. Like I think he's too well respected. So that's just my opinion on that one. But I will say this: I think it's going to be a banger of a match. I think Gunther puts on great
Absolutely.
matches, and AJ Styles is. We've said it plenty of times on this podcast. He is like the modern day Shawn Michaels. He can make other guys look good.
Mhm.
Has he lost a step or two maybe in the last few years? Maybe, but it's still top notch.
Yeah, who wouldn't lose a step in their 40s? I mean,
Right.
I don't know. That's,
I wouldn't,
that's not even a
Mikey.
knock. That's just,
Yeah. I wouldn't,
you'd be
Mikey.
smooth as silk, baby.
Yeah, I'm ready
But
to go.
I think, it is going to be a banger of a match. I think their styles really, no pun intended, their their wrestling styles, I think actually match up pretty well.
Yeah.
And given where AJ is, to your point, in his career, he Gunther's a good guy to have in the ring with you because he's not going to require too much in terms of the high flying piece that we've all known AJ Styles for. So I think AJ can sort of change it up a little bit. He can still incorporate it, but he's not going to have to rely on it as much as, for example, the Saturday night's main event match that he had, right, with like Leon White and Javon Evans. Like that was just insane. The things he had to do in that match, and I'll never know whether that fall he had off the top rope was real or not. Whether it was story or not. But all I know is, they were moving pretty quick, and he had to keep up, and he was like really challenged. So I don't think he's gonna have to do that with Gunther. It's gonna be a completely different style of match,
Yeah.
and Gunther's gonna beat the fuck out of him, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be really fun to watch. Not because I hate AJ Styles, but because I love Gunther.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I think it's gonna be a good match. I think it's gonna be and I also think that Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn is gonna be a great match.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
this card is very underrated for what's on there. And I think those two matches are gonna be very good. And I think, Sami Zayn, I think he's really underrated. Probably like 2, maybe even 3 years ago, maybe even longer. I don't even know. Me and you mentioned how Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were very underutilized, and then they started using them, and they were very good. And I think Sami Zayn is still slightly underutilized.
Yeah.
And do I think he's gonna win? I don't
Mm,
know. I don't know, but I will say this: he is loved in Saudi Arabia, so I think that was another piece of why he's on the
he
card.
is. I'm with you. And actually, for people out there, it's funny that you mentioned that, but I just got this book by his name is JJ McGee. It's called Fight Forever, so the Ballad of Kevin and Sammy, and this guy just kind of goes into the history of the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens like friendship rivalry over the years, and it goes all the way back to their time on the independent scene in Ring of Honor and PWG. So for people that are interested, like you should check it out. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it everywhere. But it's fantastic. It's been hard to put it down.
Yeah, and I think he's a great wrestler. He's unique. I like unique guys. He does not fit the normal mold of a WWE wrestler, and that's the best way I can describe Sami Zayn.
No,
Um, but I like that. If everyone's the same, why are we watching all the matches? And I think he brings a
exactly.
unique skill set that is just different. He reminds me, like when I hear him talk, like in interviews, Sammy reminds me a lot of Mick Foley. I know that seems
Mm-hmm.
strange. They're not the same
Nope.
like style, but he's got this unique artistic view that I really just don't know how to put a word to it, but he reminds me a lot of Mick Foley.
The way he approaches wrestling is like he has such a like an artistic mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of just affects the lens he sees wrestling through, which, you know, it's this kind of like, I view it as like kind of this mature lens. I feel like all of us eventually kind of get there, you
Yeah.
know? Like when you're young, you see it a certain way, and I feel like Sammy has this like very sophisticated view of professional wrestling, and I think some people look at it and think it's like kind of pretentious, or they might poo-poo on it. But I don't feel that way. I find it really inspiring, and I find it really endearing, the way he looks at it, because I the way he looks at it, he's always sort of finding the beauty within it, and I think that is like runs like as like contrary to like a lot of what we see on
Agreed.
different wrestling shows and podcasts and commentary about it. The ability to like look at it for the art form that it is and try to dissect it and determine what works and how can I make things more engaging for the people that are taking in this art. That's I love that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, and I think Foley looked at it the same way, man. If you listen to
Absolutely.
him talk, like it was the same way. Like, okay, you can think he's this hardcore guy that all he did was take crazy bumps, but there was always a method to that madness and how he did it. And
Hmm.
like it's way more intricate than you think. And I think Sami Zayn looks at it the same way. Um,
Yeah.
and I know that's a weird contrast, but if you really sit down and
Nope.
listen to the two of them, I think they're more alike than you think. And
No, not at all, dude. You're
yeah.
you're spot on, and I'm sorry, Jen, I'm jumping in. I'm actually like really excited that you're bringing this up. So,
Okay. All right.
like think about when we were younger and you watched a Mick Foley match, and all we thought was, "Oh, he's so
Oh.
badass! Look at all the fucking crazy stuff he does." And now, if you watch a Mick Foley match, you can better understand. Oh, this is why he did that. Oh, so he did
Yeah.
this to set this up to make, Rock look good in this spot over here, and then he can come back here. I'm seeing, you could see the whole story play out,
Yeah, you
and then it
can.
and then it feels even it almost like enriches the experience as you're watching it.
Agreed. No, agreed. So I don't know who's gonna win that match though.
Yeah,
I would have to think McIntyre. I think it'd be
yeah.
strange to change the title so quickly, but you never know. You never know. Maybe this is Sami Zayn's time. I'm not sure they want Sami Zayn headlining WrestleMania. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I just don't think he's the draw that like, and I'm not even sure um McIntyre's the draw compared to some of the other people, but I think he would him McIntyre versus you know Goldberg and Gunther in the three way would be probably a bigger headline for people to watch than Sami Zayn versus Lesnar or something like that. So I don't know. I think it'll be a good match too, just because Sami Zayn is in it, and I think McIntyre is good. I like him more than most, and I also think
Mhm.
he's underrated. So I think that this is going to be kind of a. I think this is going to be a really good match. I think this card is going to be great. Um, my prediction, if I had to pick one, is probably that McIntyre is going to win.
Yeah, I think Drew really needs like a proper title
Yeah,
reign.
yeah,
You got the 2020 reign, which it was what it was, and then you had his match at WrestleMania 40, where he finally does win the big one, and then Damian Priest cashes in and he loses it within 5 minutes. So Drew has not had a real title reign in quite some time.
yeah,
I don't know who he fights at WrestleMania, but I do believe that he wins this match. Even though I'm looking forward to it, like it can still be predictable, but I'll still
yeah.
enjoy it.
I would think somehow Jacob Fatu is going to be involved,
Sure.
right? So I could see him coming in and screwing over McIntyre and Sami Zayn winning to a big pop,
Hmm.
and he gets his little run with the title, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, listen, they need something to do for Elimination Chamber. So what better
yeah,
way? My guess is whoever wins is going for the world title, and
yeah,
the Elimination Chamber will determine the contender for the WWE title.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. So, speaking of which, let's move on to the rumbles here. We'll
Yeah,
start
man.
we'll start with the women's rumble. Looking at it's interesting because I looked at who was confirmed for these rumbles, and there's not a lot, right? Like there's a
No,
lot left
just
open
over half.
for surprises. And the only thing I'll say to that, and I'll include both men and women's Rumble, is that Saudi Arabia loves the nostalgia wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
The Royal Rumble is the perfect time to get a lot of those wrestlers in because they don't have to work a full match. Like you can get the surprise, you get the pop, people go home happy. So, I mean, again, I'm a sucker for this stuff, but I would love it if there was a bunch of like old school women wrestlers and men's wrestlers that just popped in. And I don't even care if they just did the Rumble and lose, but that would be cool. At the same time, I think the Rumble's important because it really does set up WrestleMania for both the men and women.
Right.
And you have to look at who do you want main eventing? So looking at the women's Rumble, I think it's more of an open card, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot more women that could possibly win than I think in the men's Rumble. So I don't know, but if I had to pick somebody, my pick would probably be Liv Morgan.
I'm with you on that one. I actually do.
Yeah.
I wish I could disagree with you, but I had it written down already. That I think she's the one that.
Did you? Oh, I see. I did not know this. People listening. I mean, we talk a lot. We had not talked about this, so.
No.
Yeah, I could also see
she's my pick.
I could also see Ripley winning.
I really can't.
No,
I don't know why. I just don't see it this year. I think she is kind of more entrenched in the tag division at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, that's true.
I've been wrong before, so it won't be
the
first time.
No, that's true. I also think she's had some injuries over the last few years, and maybe her being in the tag division is a way of them trying to manage through some of that. Maybe you're right. But I know for those listening, our fellow podcaster here, I don't know if I would consider him a guest or more of like a special
like
co-host,
special correspondent. We're able to get him every once in a while.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Man, so we're talking when he's here.
Yeah, we're talking about the voice of the New England Patriots, Mike Sarge Riley, could not make it on today. He is pretty busy with the New England Patriots going to the Super Bowl. Rock on. But he did throw in his pick, and his pick was Rhea Ripley. So I think I could see it, but I understand your standpoint too.
Yeah, I just don't see with all the other people that are in this Rumble.
Yeah,
I just have a hard time thinking it'll be Rhea.
Okay,
you know,
that's fair.
I mean, I feel like Bailey's got a better shot.
I don't think she's gonna win.
Not Lyra, but I think Lyra can make it far. Io has a better shot in my eyes than Rhea.
Okay. All right. I don't think it'll be Charlotte Flair. I really just don't think it'll be her this year.
Right.
I would love to see Chelsea.
You know who's going to be your final four? Because I had that written down. Like, forget like just the winning, but like who do you think the final four is going to be? I already have mine set, but
I have a difference. There's who I think is going to be the final four and who I want to be the final four. I think the final four is going to be Ripley, Flair, Sky, Morgan.
Ripley, Flair, Sky, and Morgan. Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. I have Liv, Roxanne, Chelsea Green, and Bailey as my final four.
Okay. See, I would love Chelsea Green. I think
the crowd would love that too. That creates some intrigue towards the end of, maybe are they going to do it?
You never know though in Saudi Arabia.
What's going on and everything they said about her.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the thing is, you never know with the Saudi crowd because they sometimes like people that are different than who the U.S. crowd likes. Yeah, so I don't know. I could also see a Lash Legend kind of being up there because
Yeah,
She's like
this would be a good
up
showcase for
and
her.
coming. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think it'll be a good one. I think was it last year the women's rumble I felt was better than the men's rumble, or was it the year before? I can't remember.
Uh, Honestly, there's been several years where I felt that way. I just
Okay.
felt like the women's rumble was just like way better paced, and they
Yeah.
did a way better job with it overall than the men's. So
Yeah.
that
I well
happens a lot. Just saying. I feel like a lot of
sometimes.
times
Yeah,
we
sometimes.
watch the War Games
Lately.
match. It's like, oh, this was better than the
Lately.
men's. Or what, you know?
I would say
That's great.
lately. Yeah, lately.
Well,
But
the guys got some fucking work to do. Step it up.
they do. Step it the F up. Step it the F up. Now quickly before we get into the men's rumble, if you had to pick two surprise people that you wouldn't expect to be in the women's rumble, who would it be?
Paige and
Let's
Elena
show.
Black.
Oh, I
I
think
They got
Paige
the
is a good
relationship
one.
with TNA, so I don't think it's out of the question. And oh, Cora Jade is what she wrestled under at NXT. But
Yeah.
I think she's Elena Black now in TNA. I think wouldn't be the first time they've done something like this.
I
So
bet I bet you
I think it's Paige and I think it's Elena Black. The
I
two
bet I
surprises.
think Paige is gonna be one. I do.
Hmm.
I also think I bet you see Trish Stratus in there. I just have
Oh
this
yeah,
weird
that's kind of to me. I feel like that's like a
yeah.
no-brainer. We're gonna
Yeah.
see her. We might see Lita.
I
I don't
bet you
know.
do just because we're in Saudi and everyone loves the attitude
They
era
do.
in
Yeah, they
Saudi.
love the
But I
nostalgia.
think she has a better
I would
shot.
love Victoria. Maybe Ivory.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Um
Eve Torres. She was at John
Jazz was
Cena's
Jazz in
retirement match,
one.
and she looked great.
Yeah. Um I bet we see Sol Ruka.
Yeah.
I bet we see
Oh yeah.
her and I bet we see
We'll
her
see
in there.
several NXT people
Yeah.
popping in there. Maybe
Fellow
Jada Parker. She's my
okay.
NXT call up pick. Jada
Okay.
Parker will be in there.
All right. Well, we'll see how it all goes, but I think it'll be exciting, an exciting one. So, all right. Moving on.
On to the
Let's
men.
on to the men's rumble. Yeah. What are you how are you feeling about the men's rumble, Mikey Cash?
I don't know, man. Uh, you know, I think there's a lot of story going into this around Cody possibly three-peating, Roman wanting to win again. But I think those are kind of like red herrings. Like I don't think the winner's going to be either one of them. I think it could be, and it wouldn't be shocking, but I just don't think that's where they're going to go this year. Uh, they got a decent selection. Looking at these guys in here, there's a lot, and I bet like even though he's not on this list, it wouldn't surprise me if Kofi shows up, and it would be cool. Like in my head, I think, oh, there's gonna be a cool spot with maybe Javon Evans and Kofi Kingston, one of those like avoid elimination kind of bits that they
Yeah.
do. Like Kofi was always like innovative in that, and maybe Javon Evans does something to sort of like take the mantle from Kofi. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's just like my weird little fantasy booking thing, but uh, you know, I don't know. Are we getting into who we think wins? Because I have a
Yeah. Go for it.
caveat prediction about that.
Well, tell me who your final four is and then tell me who
Okay,
wins and
let's.
I'll give
All
you
right.
mine.
Okay. So this is based on my, like I said, I have sort of a caveated thing. So I have a winner in mind, but so this is my final four based on that. It's Cody, Jacob Fatu, Obafemi, and Braun Breaker. Those are going to be. That's my final four.
Okay? Who wins?
So in this scenario, Breaker wins. I think Breaker wins and will challenge most likely Punk for the title. And this is my caveat. So the caveat is I think my prediction goes this way if Gunther loses. If Gunther wins against AJ Styles, I think he wins the Rumble. And I think he goes against Punk and he gets the title back.
Hmm.
That's my weird. I think it's like a very if then kind of thing here. So I have two
Okay.
different scenarios in my mind, and I don't know. Both of them seem very plausible,
Yeah.
given given that Gunther's never really had that rematch since. Like that all happened, and there's been this sort of sidetrack with the John Cena thing, and now the AJ Styles thing. I think there's, if he wins, then that builds further momentum, and he's like, fuck it, I'm ready to destroy another legend. CM Punk, you're another legend, and I couldn't cross you off the list last year, but I'm going to cross you off the list at WrestleMania on the biggest stage, and then I
Okay.
think he does it. But if Gunther loses, I actually don't think he wins the Rumble.
Okay. I like that.
I don't know.
I like that. I have a few different scenarios, but I think my final four, I think Seth Rollins comes out at number 30 and wins the Rumble.
Mm.
And goes on to face CM Punk at WrestleMania.
Mm.
CM Punk wins at WrestleMania. That's my theory behind this. But I don't know. We'll see. My other one, let's say we're going off the people that are still on here. I would say my final four is Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Braun Breaker, and Brock Lesnar. And I think Roman Reigns wins.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Lesnar. I know he'll be there.
Yeah, I think Roman Reigns wins. That's how I feel. I also could see it going. Seth Rollins comes out, wins, and Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Lesnar have like a triple threat match at WrestleMania. I think that would be a draw without the title. Whereas you could use the title to build up some guys that maybe aren't the true main event people. Like, you know what I mean? And you also got to look at the WrestleMania preview thing they had, where it was like 4 or 5 wrestlers sitting at a card table. You had Roman, Cody, Lesnar. Was it Rollins was the other one, or Punk? So yeah, you got to imagine those guys are all going to be involved in the main event somehow. So I don't know. It could go a bunch of different ways. I will say this: if we're going to talk about some surprise entrants, like we did with the Women's Rumble, there are rumors that Powerhouse Hobbs came on, and I think he is going to make a surprise an entrance there. I think that is legit, something that could happen. But I still feel like they love the Attitude Era. I just don't know who you're going to get. I don't see like a Stone Cold coming out. I don't see The Rock coming out. But like who do you like? This is the perfect time for them to bring a guy back that was in the Attitude Era. And I'm just trying to think of like who is it?
Steve Blackman.
He's not
Lethal Weapon.
I can't
Steve Blackman and Hardcore Holly. If you really love the Attitude Era that much.
Yeah, I don't see that. And I don't think that would be a big enough.
You don't see the Headbangers coming out?
No, I don't. I could see Jeff Hardy like maybe making an appearance in the Rumble. I could see something like that, you know. But I'm trying to think like who is a star. Like Undertaker's not going in there. You know, those guys aren't.
Kane.
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe
crazier things have happened.
I just think like out of all the years they had the stupid match with like Triple H and Kane and DX, and it was so bad. And like it
wasn't great.
This is like the most perfect time for them to bring those types of guys back so they can
honestly, I don't think it's going to be any of those guys.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think it's going to be any of those guys. You're right. They do love nostalgia. But where I disagree with you is one of my surprise picks is Rock shows up. He's never in his career surprise returned at a Rumble. Never.
Who's this? The Rock?
We've seen that with so many other guys where they've made those little surprise returns. That's never been a way he's kind of reintroduced himself back into the wrestling fold.
Yeah. No,
But
that's
I guess it's sort of what do you do with it, right? So like that would be a
yeah.
great moment, but then what? Is there any follow up to that, or is it sort of one of those you get a
Or
little teaser thing because somebody beats them up and like whoever eliminates them, that's kind of a story that they're going to go with. Does Roman
or
eliminate him, and then that becomes the thing?
or he comes out and eliminates Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes because
Right. So,
he's had the
yeah,
little like yeah, and
so there could be stories there.
that's how they get out of the match, and then Seth Rollins goes on to win it, like
Right.
I say. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't think Cody is going to win a third. We
Not yet.
do have a question from someone listening about whether they think that the two matches will go on before the Rumble or after.
Well, it depends which Rumble. I think ultimately the show's going to be bookended. You're going to
Me
have a
too.
Rumble at the start and a Rumble to finish, and that's kind of been their formula. So I suspect it's going to be like that. You're going to have a Rumble to start, the two matches, maybe something else in between that, some presentation. They love doing that kind of stuff, and then the Rumble at the end.
Yeah. I could also see them doing a Rumble at the beginning, a match with probably the AJ Styles match, then another Rumble, and then the main event. If Sammy's going to win, that place will go nuts.
Yeah, that would
So
be
I could
wild.
see them ending it with that,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
But you know what?
I'm
That hasn't been the first time they've done that before, where they haven't had the Royal Rumble be the last match
no, I know,
of the night.
yeah,
Yeah, you're onto something. Maybe they do, but
yeah. I mean,
I guess that's kind of the fun part about this. It's like we won't know until we just put it on.
it's a great question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
I think that is it's always like one of those intricate things. Like I said, when we started this
Right.
podcast today, I talked about the production and like
Hmm.
the event or the
Yeah.
stadium they built. And I think the match setup is also kind of like part of that and
Hmm.
a good. I think it's fun to see how they set that up. And I don't know if you watched Unreal yet or not, and a little bit going off topic, but um they showed Triple H talking about I think it was the Jelly Roll match, and they Jelly Roll basically said, "Hey, I want to go heels up," meaning I want to be the one who gets pinned and loses. And Triple H kind of said, "Okay, I hear you. It all depends on how the rest of the matches play out. We have this person winning, which is
Hmm.
going to be a good thing. I don't want to end it with you know two bad things and whatever." And I think that's a very, very fascinating way to look at it because, again, that's outside the box, right? You're thinking about the match being good, but now you have to look at it from a whole perspective of making the audience
Right.
happy. And I
Right.
think that that's a really intricate part
Hmm.
of the show. So we shall see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it could go a couple different ways. I'm more on the side of you where I think they're going to be bookended.
Yeah, they've done it in at different shows now. Because you have both the men's and women's specialty match, I think it's just sort of
Yeah,
their probably their path of least resistance.
right.
You bookend the shows, and every once in a while you just swap them. Depending on what you want. Like to quote what's happened in Unreal, maybe Triple H is thinking, okay, we want it to go a certain way, so we're gonna have the women be the main event of this one. So
I don't
I don't
think the
know.
women will main event. I think it'll be women's match to start. I think it'll go AJ
Yeah.
Styles and Gunther. I think it'll go the WWE title match. Then I think it'll go the Rumble, and we shall see. I think it all depends on what's going to happen at the Rumble and if Sami Zayn is going to win or not. I think if the
Yeah.
I think if Sami Zayn wins, I think they go last. And you got a lot of old school guys. I mean, Triple H is kind of like an old school wrestling guy. You got CM Punk in there who truly believe like title matches should go last. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right. So our last bit here, WrestleMania predictions. So we're looking to our
I don't
SFG crystal
know.
ball here. Given what we've been talking about today, what do we feel like one of the WrestleMania matches is going to be?
I really don't know. I still think it's going to be Rollins and Punk. I really think that is going to happen. I'm like
Yeah.
this is the first WrestleMania in a while where I'm like, I don't really know what match is going to draw everybody. Like, you got, if, okay, let's just say McIntyre's still a champion. Who's he going to face where you're like, oh, this is great? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I would be willing to bet that the CM Punk Seth Rollins storyline has just gone on for so long. And I feel like CM Punk has not got his comeuppance yet, right? Like, he just hasn't. He hasn't got his comeuppance. And I think WrestleMania is the time that it happens.
All right. For me, I'm gonna do a men's and women's. So for men, I think it's Breakker versus Punk, because I do think that, provided my caveat stays untouched, Breakker wins. It's a big move for him. In terms of the women, I think it's Liv versus Stephanie Vicaire. I think Liv wins. I think
I
it's gonna
agree
be
with
her
that
time.
one.
I
I
just
agree with that one.
a lot of people might see it coming, but honestly, I kind of think it's due. It's
Yeah.
due. She has been one of the best for a while now.
Nope, I agree with that. I agree with that one. I think the other one is definitely up for grabs here. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see, man.
I know.
I will literally shut the TV off though if Jey Uso wins again.
I don't think that's gonna happen. No yeet.
Yeah, no yeet. No yeet. So
All right.
cool.
Well, listen, everybody that was able to listen today, find us on the socials, scan that QR code. Let us know what you think about the Rumble as we head in. We're a couple hours away. It's 11 o'clock now. We only got 3 or 4 hours until this thing starts. So looking forward to it. I really want to, I'm very much looking forward to this show. I think it's going to be a fun show. And yeah, can't wait to hear everybody's thoughts on it once the whole thing settles in.
I agree.
All right. All right, jabronis. Keep on strutting and enjoy your Royal Rumble day.